Go.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Corporal Benjamin Apolinario, born on January 13, 1961 at Barangay Poblacion 2, Moncada, Tarlac City. And I'm 66 years old. And during my college, I went to Pamantasan ng lungsod ng Manila to study of Bachelor of Science in Public Administration. In 1981, I left the PLM, joined the Philippine Military Academy, and graduated in 1985. As part of Sinagtala, Sinagtala class, I earned a Master of Public Administration degree in 1997 to 2005 from the University of Philippine Diliman. I joined the police force in 1985 as a lieutenant of the Philippine Constabulary in Mandaluyong City in 1991. I was designated as chief inspector and worked as one of the staff of at police regional officer in Pampanga. In 1996, I was designated as police provincial director in Camp Macabulos, Tarlac City. In 1998, I was assigned to the office of the police director of the Philippine National Police at Camp Macabulos in Tarlac City. In in 2003, I was promoted police superintendent and was assigned to Camp Aguinaldo in Capas, Tarlac. After in the year 2009, the I become a provincial director in Tarlac City. After a long year of my service, I decide to step down and try to my another ambition to run as municipal councilor in our town on the year 2010. And we have 16 Latin print, and number one is bifurcation. And what is the bifurcation? And we have 7 bifurcation in Latin print, and mostly in our fingerprint type is bifurcation. So I can detail you all bifurcation once upon on a time. So what is bifurcation? It's a single ridge which split going side by side or parallel to each other. And second, short ridge. The short ridge is ridge of limited length, and we have we have two ridge hawk. Um, Ridge hawk is connecting ridge which split at the side is extremely shorter than the other. And next, core formation located at the center or heart of a pattern. And next, delta near the G center of the divergence directly in front. Next, bridge connecting two bridge adjacent ridge. And next, that will form bridge that is normal caused by the single protuberance. And the last is ridge ending, termination ridge of like. And let's proceed to 1 to 35 question. Can you please read the question for me, Sir Bandong?
So, Mr. Baldado, are you ready?
Yes,
So,
sir.
if you are a expert fingerprint technicians, and this is a frequently questions that will be answered. So, this is a questions first. What do you mean by epidermal ridges?
This ridge cause ridge in the overlapping epidermis.
Second, what are fingerprint made up of ridges?
Um, a person's fingerprints are based on the pattern of skin ridge on the pads of the fingers.
So, next questions. What are furrows?
Um, recess area between friction, papillary ridge.
What is by mean by motte?
The location when a ridge become discontinuous.
Hmm? And what are the value are there in motte? Motte in the fingerprint identification?
25 to 80,
How many layers of skin are there?
three, la- three layers. The epidermis, dermis, and the hypodermis.
Mhm. And what is the average of stickiness of skin on the palmar side of young hand?
Um, 1.5 mm.
Mhm. What is poroscopy?
Poroscopy is the study of sweat pores um, present on the friction ridge of palmar and the plantar surface.
Is poroscopy science of identifications like a fingerprint?
Horoscopy is the method of the person identification.
What is an ink impression?
Um, recording of the fiction reads detailed present on the deltas joint of the fingerprints and palm.
What is latent print?
Latent print is an impression of the friction skin of the fingers or palm of the hand, hand hands that has been transferred to another surface.
What are fingerprints patterns and pattern areas?
Pattern areas is called arches, loops, and word.
Can palm prints like a fingerprints used to establish identity?
Palm prints is generally accepted by the forensic science common community as positive identification.
What is idioscopy?
Idioscopy is a method of identification through the examination of the unique details and characteristic found along the edge of individual fingerprints ridge.
Next questions. In fingerprint comparison, what is by means apparent dissimilarity?
Uh, a difference in which in the opinions of the examiner can be explained.
Mhm. So, is there a specific number of points to one must find in order to conclude a positive identification?
There is no maximum number of matching points.
What are the basic premises of fingerprint identification?
Uniqueness and permanence.
Is a fingerprint identification an exact science? If yes, then why would two examiners differ in their opinions?
No,
Could you determine exactly the age of latent print impression?
there is no scientific way to determine the time a latent prints was deposited one on a surface.
So, what is latent print transfer card?
The chance impression left on the item through the transfer of the per- perspiration and oil from the friction ridge skin to the items itself.
Mhm. So, how is latent print lifting done?
Um, Coating fingerprints with powder, lifting them and them and then taking them to the uh, forensic lab where they are compared to the fingerprints in the database. Database.
What is a transfer lifting tape?
Designate designed for lifting of the fingerprints which are developed with fingerprints powder.
Mhm. So, what is method and employed in development of latent prints and how long they work?
Latin prints is fluorescence dusting with fluorescent powders, uh, staining with fluorescent days and treatment with compounds such as fluorescent mine.
So, how long will latent print last?
There is no scientific way to know how long Latin print will last.
What is by means smudge print? Is a smudge print the same print of the no value?
When printing on paper that is even slightly moist from humid, humidity, ink can become smudge. On the paper, color can run together and text or image can be distorted.
So, how many points identification are found in normal world impression?
12.
Mm-hmm. And what is natural decimal? Ay, wait lang. No, 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 no. Oh, what is natural dissimilarity, rather? Sorry.
Dust or dirty on the fingerprints at that time. Prints was made uneven. Inked when taking prints, slippage during prints taking and scurrying.
So, what are the focal point?
Delta and poor.
So, can be for can be fingerprints be forged?
A prints forgery maybe it's either two types, namely
Can you tell in all instance that a print has been forged?
it is considerable uh, reluctance that fingerprints expert have come to realize realize that fingerprints can be forged and to have admit as much when testify in court.
So it is possible that the prints you found and developed to be forged print.
Um, yes,
What is anhydrine and how nihydrine and how does it work?
ninhydrin is the most widely used chemical agent for the detection of latent finger mass on porous surface such as paper, cardboard.
What is scientific terms of for nihydrine? Nihydrine.
Um, 222 hydroxidin. Tama ba?
Mm-hmm. And what is iodine foaming method and how does it work?
Um, sub, sub, sublimation of um, iodine crystals to produce violet iodine forms which are absorbed um, onto finger mass. Resi- residue resulting in yellowish brown finger mass.
So last questions. What is sebaceous oil?
Sebaceous is an oil substance that protects your skin from drying out.
So thank you, Mr. Baldado.
Thank you, sir.
So hello, mom. Hello, everyone. My name is I'm police senior master sergeant Lorenzo Jose Bandong. I'm 38 years old and I live in San Quintin, Pangasinan. And I graduated at the University of Luzon and May 26 of 2005. And I am a cum laude on the batch of uh, Masigla 2005 in University of Luzon. And I'm now, so let's proceed to different fingerprints in their reviews here in our PowerPoints or here in our documentations that these fingerprints will be in a showcase in their some cases in their in Laguna, which is a female these fingerprints which is in a female suspect. So I think that this is very important to know what is in different between a plain impressions and latent print. So this is plain impressions and this is the latent print. Yeah, yes. So this is a plain impressions. What do you means plain impressions? So plain impressions is a flat in impressions that taken and stimulously without rolling. So without rolling. So flat impressions. That's it. So latent impressions is of the friction skins of the fingers or palms of the hands that has been transferred to another surface. So like a a an stainless cup. This is one of the uh, female victims or female suspect that we lost to being a crane of cup of glass and a stainless. So that so next one, let's proceed to the 16 similarities of in a plain and private and Latin print. So first one is wait, first one is ending ridge. When we call ending ridge is the terminations of the ridges of lake. So next one is dot or ridge just dot. So ridges dot is a will form of ridge that is abnormally caused by a single uh, protuberance. When we call, say, protuberance, it is a body part that wiggles of outwards of the surface of our fingerprints. So, at that. So, for the next one is bifurcations. So we have many of these fingerprints of female suspect is many types of characteristic range of bifurcations. So when we say bifurcations is a single ridge which split into two ridges going side by side of parallel to each other. So next one is a ridge hook. When we say ridge hook is the ridge of divides or from two one of the connecting ridges or which split at the sides and extremely of ridge of lake. Yeah. So when you say bridge, it's a connecting two adjacent ridges. This is the bridge. So we have a delta. When we say delta is that other words of delta is a triradial points is the near center of the divergence of the type lines. It is a point of the ridges of informations of directly in front. So the next one is a bridge. So when we say bridge against is a connecting two adjacent ridges. So next one is the core. Core. Our core. When you say core, is the point or is a point of ranges of informations of location at the center or a heart pattern. So we have a ridge hook again. So when you say ridge hook is the defines from the ridges or one connecting ridges which is split of side is extremely of ridge of lake again. So then last is a short range. When we say short range, it's which of a significant in a shorts than average of the length of different of these kinds of characteristic of ranges. So I'm done to defines of all of that uh, difference or the characteristics of ranges in uh, plain impressions and Latin impressions of a female suspect and when it held in Laguna. So um, has is a spurt weakness. I train or I attain at seminars. We have three seminars will be me attend in uh, for a fingerprint recognitions and biometrics. The second one will be obtained of seminars is a fingerprint recognition system using a hybrid and matching techniques. And the next one is the high fingerprint techniques and reports of convenient identifications of a persons. So this is my seminars will be attained, and has a PNP, or has a Philippine National Police at a part of the Philippine National Police. And this is my training, of course. And this is my trainings is first training is a public safety and officers of senior executive course. And the next one is in public safety of advanced course. And the last one is public safety and officers and basic course. And now I'm taking a master degree of a public safety and officers, and some that I will take in soon. So anyone can, mom, sir, do you have a questions?
Okay, Sir Bandong. This is your first question. What do you mean by epidemics reach?
So those arranges are swiftly works that leave are what we call fingerprints.
Okay, next. Um, are fingerprints made up of ridges?
Yes, we have a uh different ridges, like a bifurcations, short ridge, a or many ridges that we see in our fingerprints.
What are furrows?
Furrows are the depressions or canals between the ridges.
What is meant by minutiae?
What is by means mutate? Um, it is means the character or the many characters of the ridges we found in our fingerprints.
Of what value are they minutiae in fingerprints identification?
So the value of Matei in identifications of our fingerprints is 25 to 80 delivering to on our fingerprints scanner or resolutions of our fingerprints.
Number 6. How many layers of skin are there?
We have a 3 layers of our skin, which is epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis.
What is the average thickness of skin on the palmar side of young hand?
I think the average of thickness of palm young mar is, I think, is 1 to 4.
What is poroscopy?
Poroscopy study of human pores and sweat glands.
Is poroscopy a science of identification like fingerprints?
It is one of formations in biometrics which is concordant characteristics of the persons of identifications.
What is an inked impressions? Impression.
Ink impressions is recording to friction ridges that details the presence of the distal joints of our ridges or our fingerprints or palm.
What is latent print?
Latent print is the hidden and concealed they are those markings and usually rather than instincts which is in our palms or our fingers have the touch.
What are fingerprint pattern and pattern areas?
The fingerprint pattern areas is that those patterns areas is the driven from the structureness of the like cores deltas. So in the pattern areas is that of the loop, like loop, whirl, or which is appear to our in cores and deltas and ridges.
Can palm prints like fingerprints used to establish identify?
It is used together that it's enhanced to a currency of identifications.
What is endoscopy?
Agiscopy is a study of characteristic of ridges and age, curvature ages and comparison of purpose.
In fingerprint comparison, what is meant by apparent dissimilarity?
This is a comparison of fingerprints. It would be assumed that prints were be made by different fingerprints.
Is there a specific number of points to one must find in order to conclude a positive identification?
And I think it show it has been developed through the bodily and through show to contributes and providing.
What are the basic premises of fingerprints identification?
I think the biggest premises of fingerprint determinations is uh, identifications that is study the premises to identify and uniqueness and the instance and permanence of our fingerprints.
Is fingerprint identification an exact science? If yes, then why would two examiners differ in their opinion?
No, there is a scientific basis and the critical exceptions for a fingerprints identifications.
Could you determine exactly the age of latent impression?
We have no scientific calculations for that units for the fingerprints, uh, trans fingerprints.
What is a latent print transfer card?
Latent transfer card is a whiteboard to transfer the fingerprints from the many points of uh the powders, and we should be able to transfer to the whiteboard.
How is latent print lifting done?
Um, it is the continuous fingerprints, a powder for the them and a forensic lab where they compared up for to compare up fingerprints in their databases.
What is a transfer lifting tape?
Transfer lifting technique applies to using to differs, but also to uh to impossible to apply to manually.
What methods are employed in the development of latent prints and how do they work?
So result from the reproductions or frictions ridges and are found sort of parts of ridges or the fingers or hands, or as long as our feet and from natural circulations.
How long will a latent print last?
This is no scientific way to know how will the long the fingerprints or lateral prints will be last.
What is meant of smudge? Print is smudge print the same as the print of value, no value.
For me, there is as much will have no value because there is no prints that focus whatever we broken and our uh structures of making of fingerprints having a prints. Thank you.
How many points of identification are found in normal rule impression?
We have a 12 points and found a normally ruled impressions.
What is natural dissimilarity?
Natural similarity is the dust and trigger to the same time and is budged for the during and the taking of time of fingerprint.
What are the focal points in the fingerprints of what value are there? They
These are the cores of values that see the points of the ranges, the in persons of a person's of the fingerprints patterns.
can be fingerprint be forged?
Yes, if you are the persons under illegal under arrest, if the refuse to the fingerprinted may be prosecuted for the be obedience for the fingerprinting.
Can you tell can you tell in all instances that a print has been forged?
When you say prints in instantly to correlate the prints, it is special to honor the fingerprints.
It is possible that the prints you found and developed are forged prints.
It is possible to remove the altered or fake fingerprints.
What is non-hydrogen and
Then
how doesn't it work?
sorry, this is much widely used to chemical reagents the for the for the delections of Latin prints porous.
What is the scientific term of ninhydrin?
The scientific of hydrogen is the hydrogen hox, the hydrogen oxide, oxide, oxide rather.
What is iodine homing method and how doesn't it work?
It is the one oldest standards of techniques of use developed of the absorptions of a fingerprint mark.
What is sebaceous oil?
Sebaceous oil is the oil that it protects of our skin that it forms during of drying out of our skin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sir Bandao.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, mom. Thank you. Have a nice day.